Hi, I'm Sarah with People for Bikes. Thanks for joining us in this series as we share our passion for making biking better for everyone. The problems modern city streets face are as huge as ever. But these days, many of the best solutions are small. Thanks to paint and simple physical objects that can be cheaply purchased and quickly installed, cities are delivering improved safety, better economic performance, new transportation choices, and a higher quality of life. These rapid implementation methods are allowing cities to create heavily used bike networks, popular new public spaces, and safer streets for walking, biking, and driving. To learn how simple, low-cost solutions can make a city great for biking, we spoke with Mike Lydon, principal at Street Plans. Mike is an internationally recognized planner, writer, speaker, and advocate for livable cities, and was a pioneer in shaping the policies that would guide cities to implement low-cost, accelerated improvements that make biking better for everyone.
The value of quick builds for community engagement is that you can also include the actual public or local stakeholders in the delivery of the actual project. That's very different from permanent infrastructure, which requires heavy machinery and experts. But you can use art, you can use paint, you can have 3-year-olds to 90-year-olds out in the street helping you to install these projects. And in fact, we've had people like that participate. It's really important to think about how to engage people, not just in the planning or in the outcomes, but in the actual process of installing the project. Quick build is itself kind of a mechanism to use the project itself as a tool for feedback. Now, what's really important is that in that process is that you communicate that broadly to the public so they know that it's flexible and can change. And so by using the project as engagement, you're able to have many more conversations with many more different types of people on the street with something to point to and use, which can help support a broader engagement and a more diverse set of opinions that go into the longer term design. From a accessibility standpoint, there are a lot of features in quick build projects, and let's say just pointing to a bike lane design that allows for shorter crossing distances, to improve crossings and ramps, and to add the different elements that lead to ADA compliance in environments that very much don't have that. So for example, we work in a lot of older cities. A lot of those cities don't have curb ramps, and if they do, a lot of them are not ADA accessible. So it provides an opportunity for us to make those changes, either using temporary ramp systems or by using materials that then make those crossings and those ramps to be ADA compliant. So I think there's a misunderstanding that quick build is just going out and doing it without telling anybody, without getting any consent, without getting any feedback or input. That's certainly not a best practice. But it's also not meant to say we're going to take 2 or 3 years to deliberate every single design detail before we try something. And this is particularly important on corridors that have high crash rates, because if you don't respond to those issues in the near term, what you're really doing is risking the lives and the safety of people on the street for the days and weeks and months ahead. But having integrity in that initial outreach, and then again, using the project as an open platform for ongoing engagement, and make sure you have tools in place and mechanisms in place to receive that feedback and then communicate that back to the public, what the city or county or state jurisdiction is hearing, and what the plan is of action to then respond to that.
Experimenting with materials, processes, and funding that allow them to install bike lanes, public plazas, and other street improvements in just months. Cities are accelerating the development of their bike network years ahead of schedule. We call this evolving approach quick build project delivery.
And when you plan and design and build permanent infrastructure, you really have about one chance at getting that right, or else adapting it can be very expensive. Any changes at intersections, streets, like crosswalks and public spaces like plazas, to bike lanes, curb extensions, median islands, roundabouts, These are all very common types of projects that utilize the Quick Build toolkit. So there's a wide range of materials that are utilized for Quick Build. Paint and delineators are the most common, but there's lots of other types of vertical elements that get introduced into streets and public spaces. Planters, armadillos, concrete buttons. There's a whole range of things that are possible, and each one of them has a positive side and oftentimes a negative side to their use. And so understanding where and how to apply those materials in certain settings is really important. A lot of materials decisions get driven by what the available budget is, as well as some of the design elements. How far apart do you space the planters, for example? Do you have the maintenance team and resources in place to manage whatever gets planted in those planters? Quick build projects are great in the sense that they allow you to very quickly start to collect feedback that's qualitative, but also data that's quantitative. So it's really important with these projects, to the extent possible, that you develop a data collection plan that includes both and is done before the project is installed, during, and then after. Thinking about duration, you want to think about at least, I'd say, a month. Ideally, you'd be doing 6 months to a year to collect data and information and feedback over several seasons, and to better understand the trends that get established through the data collection process. Safety, users, visual impacts, the impacts to the local economy, with local businesses. These are all things that can be measured relatively easily. But again, putting in place measures before, during, and after is a really important part of that. And one of the mistakes that we see commonly is that people don't do that until it's too late.
Beginning in 2010, a business district in Memphis, Tennessee organized a live weekend demonstration of a handmade protected bike lane and revitalized commercial block. And in 2014, the city ran a 1-year trial that converted half of an expressway along the Mississippi River to a separated walking and biking path. Today, with the continued help from private sector partners, the city continues to rapidly grow its bike network using the same techniques it helped pioneer a decade ago. We spoke with Susanna Barton, Director of Quality Public Spaces at the Memphis Medical District Collaborative, a local community development organization. She is responsible for creating and maintaining public spaces in the Memphis Medical District that foster connections between people and place.
We believe that streets are public spaces, and therefore they should be safe, functional, and inviting for all users. And permanent infrastructure changes are often really costly and have a long lead time. The quick build approach allows us to make investments to the functionality and the safety of streets in a relatively quick time frame. And then it also allows us some flexibility to make adjustments if and when we need to. Specifically, what that looks like in our district is we've worked on 2 corridor miles at 20 intersections, and we've done that in 4 years. Now we're looking to our next 5 years, and we're really focused on creating strong connections between our institutions, between our parks and green spaces, our residential neighborhoods, and our commercial corridors. We hope that we can build a district where folks feel comfortable riding their bicycle, not only from point A to point B, but really exploring new places and new destinations, and knowing that they can do that in a safe way here in the district. We also use a lot of color in our work, and we found again that just ultimately makes the space more welcoming and inviting for folks. It helps to slow down cars, and it helps to distinguish space. We do an annual survey every year where we ask for feedback on all of our programs. In particular, the Streetscape program gets really positive responses every year, and folks continue to use words like improved feeling of safety, increased feeling of safety on the streets, which has been really great. We've really been hearing more from organizations from other parts of the city over the last couple of years that have seen our work and want to implement similar quick build projects in their districts. So we've everything from the university district to downtown, we're seeing similar quick build projects pop up. And it's really nice to see that our work is now being replicated in other parts of the city. And that ultimately, we hope to have a safer, better connected city for all users.
Sometimes the best way to get people excited about a bike project is to build it. And using these low-cost, easy-to-implement solutions, we can give everyone better options to get where they need to go quickly and safely by including bike infrastructure and our transportation improvements. Thanks for joining us as we looked at one of the ways your city can make bicycling better. Visit our city ratings website for more tools and resources that will improve the health, livelihood, and future of our streets, cities, and planet. Together, let's create a better world through bikes.